My name's Rhonda, and I'm a fifth grade teacher here at 321. And this is my fifth year here, but my 14th year teaching. And I really love teaching fifth grade, so I'm going to try to give you a little insight into what fifth grade's like here. This is what my classroom is like. We tackle really big topics throughout the year: the Constitution, Civil War, immigration, civil rights, the Great Depression. In reading, I teach my students to always use prior knowledge, make connections, ask questions, make reflections about what you've read. The students do this again and again in every unit throughout the whole year. I'm telling them, while you're reading, keep your brain alive. We call this thinking. We do it every day throughout the whole year. And then after we've read a text, or maybe while we're reading a text, we'll stop and we'll discuss it, and we'll share with each other what we're thinking about what we're reading. Sometimes kids agree, sometimes they disagree, sometimes one student helps another student see something new, and we call this a discussion. There's lots of thinking and discussion that goes on every day in fifth grade. And every child is a part of the process, regardless of if they're at, above, or below grade level. You're a part of the discussion in my classroom. Your voice is valued, your ideas are respected, and you're expected to be part of the discussion. And I call this a community. In the past 3 years, we've grown our math program to include more and more of this type of learning, with students exploring problems rather than memorizing algorithms. We discuss strategies, and we value different ways to look at problems. Teaching in this style is very alive, it's meaningful, and frankly, it's a lot of fun. And that's really not a small statement. I have a lot of fun every day teaching my kids, and I think that students deserve teachers that enjoy teaching. I still have my college essay when I first was entering the School of Education, the one where I wrote, "I believe that public schools are the cornerstone of a democracy. And for a democracy to work, we need citizens that can think and join the discussion and be part of the community. We need people with various skills and ability. We need different perspectives and voices to be heard." And I've found such a beautiful place here at 321 to live out that vision of what public schools should be. But I've started to question where America is headed with education. In the pursuit to cure the nation's educational ills, high-stakes testing has become the easiest and most used measure to decide if I'm doing my job. The high stakes associated with testing have such unforgiving consequences for my students and myself. I find it hard to stomach that such extreme decisions and labels are placed on students and teachers alike based on a few days of a high-pressure situation. Students can be labeled below grade level, teachers can be labeled ineffective, their middle school placements and my job security can be put in jeopardy, all because of these few days. So since most of you don't really know what these tests are like, I'm going to tell you what testing looks like in fifth grade. I would say we lose about a month of teaching to these tests. The tests are 6 days total, spanning over 2 weeks. And I feel that it would be unfair to my students if I didn't spend some time giving them a chance on practice tests and try to impart some testing strategies. So there goes another 2 weeks. This is about as pared down as you can get in the testing world. I know that the amount of time lost at other schools is far greater than 1 month. Last year, the ELA test was so long and asking the most minute details about truly boring texts that it took students an enormous amount of time to complete the multiple choice section, leaving them very little time to actually write the essay. So all the fabulous writers workshop we'd done all year whittled down to just get something written in the next 12 minutes. Several students did not finish the test, or they just rushed in those final minutes. Do those few minutes really negate the pages of research they read and the essays they wrote all year? One of my top students last year was in sobbing tears at the end of the test because she simply didn't get to one of the short response questions. Additionally, while I'm not allowed to say what texts were on the test, some of the sections were from books that were written above fifth grade level. And while many kids here at 321 do read above grade level, it seems that the state test should at least be a grade level assessment. State tests stop all the thinking, discussing, and community building. Once we get into test prep, there's no real conversation. Just practice answering these questions, and maybe we'll analyze why B is the right answer. Because of time constraints during the testing, I tell my students, please don't think too much about the text. Just focus on answering the question. The test prep I intend to do this year will not be around content. I actually feel confident that my students can read and think. Test prep this year will be around speed and how to work effectively under pressure. After all the amazing reading and discussions that we've done all year long, watching my kids struggle and stress under this is so disheartening. Even worse is when the test scores come out and they score a few points below where they did the year before, and I'm credited with moving on kids who didn't get a year's worth of growth. It seems so illogical to have this one snapshot of your academic abilities have such high consequences, especially since the situation is shrouded in such anxiety and pressure. It's human nature that when you're rushing and anxious that you're more likely to make a mistake. It's painful and outraging that something that I really have no control over has such an impact on my career, the job I love. I've been in 5th grade for several years now. Every year since high stakes testing started, we've seen movement in the 5th grade teaching staff. It makes me sad to know that so few of my colleagues want to teach 5th grade because of the pressure. In the last 2 years, 7 of the 9 5th grade teachers are new to the school. Am I supposed to stress out a bunch of 11-year-olds over tests because my job status is on the line? I can't be clear enough in saying that I love 5th grade, but if my job is in jeopardy because of test scores, I will have to move to another grade. Additionally, this job is my livelihood. I stand before you today and I say that I'm still trying to figure out if in the eyes of the state, if I'm effective or ineffective according to the test scores from last year. I don't even know if my job's in jeopardy. And I worry about the long-term effects of having this system. If I have ineffective ratings in my wherever the state keeps our ineffective ratings, I don't worry about my job now with Liz as my principal. But what could happen years from now when I'm higher on the pay scale and I could have a different principal? Can these tests be used as a way not to get rid of bad teachers, but to get rid of expensive ones? Will it count that I've had good observations, run joyful, academically strong classrooms, been an active member of this community for years, if a principal someday decides they want a cheaper teacher than me? I've always pictured myself teaching into my golden years because that's what I've always loved to do, but now I'm concerned and I'm questioning. Am I going to be out of a job just short of my retirement, right when my own 2 kids are entering college? In addition to being a teacher, I'm also a parent. And I watched my 3rd grader go through testing last year. And because she was unable to finish one of the tests, for months she was certain she was going to have to repeat 3rd grade. This is a kid who was on grade level all year. She went from loving school to not even wanting to come. It's when you talk about your kids. To be honest with you, as much as I'm outraged at how I'm being treated and how I'm being mismeasured, what really moves me to speak out is the damage being done to this generation of children. You simply cannot inflict a corporate model in education that think education is a simple input-output box. Children grow at different rates, they learn in different ways, and they test under pressure in different ways.